They say my home is just a piece of land where we're kept in check, meant as pets contained in a cage of segregation, told we came up too short to belong. But from my angle, home is different. It's backyard bonfires, and pointing out in the sky, astrology signs on cold autumn nights. Winds whisper rhythms to orchestras of coniferous trees playing across the boreal forest, a ballad for the northern lights to perform a dance on the cosmic canvas, painting turquoise auroras in the sky. I tilt my head back to bask in the stars, as if I'm drinking in the Milky Way like a vanilla shake, while I pretend for the day I'm not lactose intolerant. Home is dirt roads and bush trails. It's auntie's bookshelves of indigenous decor and limitless assortments of beads, handmade ceramics, and deer and wolf pelts. Home is 6 months of winter, lost gloves from hanging off car bumpers. It's rock, paper, scissors for the first to do knock knock ginger. Home is community gatherings, being teased out of love, beautiful Aboriginal women spreading laughter over ears like muffs to warm our spirits. It's the that means anything you want it to. It's every as-if, ever sick and not even. It's hearing Ojibwe and Cree dialects from elders whose sole purpose is sculpting smiles on sun-kissed cheeks of our youth. Home is hearing barks from unleashed stray dogs. It's teenagers communicating through loon calls on late walks under the blanket of a moonlit sky quilted by hands of the Creator. Home is native pride engraved inside our atrium and school walls built from bricks of integrity and a dream. Home is simply a comforting cup of tea. It's the smell of moose meat stew with dumplings from grandparents filling tummies of family and friends because you could never have too much. It's hand-me-downs, it's borrowing and sharing with your neighbors. It's blankets for curtains and walls garnished with cedar and sweetgrass and restful sleeps under dream catchers. Home is my grandmother's bannock and her homemade blueberry jam, picked individually from an area we're not telling anybody about. It's learning to drive down the back roads and hunting partridge and beaver trapping with my grandfather. It's being spoken to by both in the mother tongue we understand but can't really hit the ball back, except for letting out a few machisakai towards friends because those phrases for some reason are always learnt first. And I miss home. Even though I'm still here. It just isn't the same anymore. And I know things change, but it didn't change, it broke. And there's no emergency room to put a splint on a fractured community. We're losing grip, hanging off a cliff of a lucid dream, scared to slip and fall between cracks of a shattered land we're unprepared to enter, like a VHS tape of Aboriginal history stuck on rewind. So we have to rewatch the elimination of our culture and practices once more through prejudice and bigotry. Alas, home is now a haven for illegal activities, synthetic narcotics floating around like gray clouds, and doctors' prescriptions that are abused. It's the literal change of physical appearances of loved ones due to hands being held from the relationship between trauma and addiction. Euphoria has become currency we exchange for an apathetic character and a deteriorating spirit. It's where sincere smiles are now used to manipulate, holding emotions for ransom for a price too high we can only afford to fend for ourselves, and drug prescriptions are taken as resumes from the unemployed rejecting work for a fast buck, and our high school halls that were once filled with commitment and enthusiasm now reduced to just echoes of students reciting book excerpts from English classes and PowerPoint presentations. But it's still home. And I choose to see a community dedicated to band together and fight to survive our own internal wounded knee as a unit tighter than braids of our ancestors, because believe, we're products of their beauty and peace. This is my home, the ups and downs, the what was and what's now, the who, when, why, how, trying sense of make to everything, confused, thinking we're jigsaw pieces destined to create a happy picture when it's more like Jenga. We have to keep building each other up, even if we fall more than once, cause if life were as flat as a puzzle, we'd always hit rock bottom. This is my home and I love every part of it. With every blade of grass bending gently, gracefully flattened from dancing moccasins of past centuries, I give mountains of love to my brothers and sisters for the ones that they have moved, making sure home is still identified as the epitome of indigenous tradition like it was never forgotten. Home is where my heart is. Home is where my heart is.